Namaste, I'm Anjana. I'm the co-founder of Bodhisattva Gallery. My other hats are also I'm the founder of Beyond Beijing Committee Nepal and co-founder of Atwin Nepal and founder of Himalayan Human Rights Monitors.
Namaste, I'm Siddhartha Man Shakya. I'm the exhibition designer at Bodhisattva Gallery and the co-founder of Universe.
The art collection started like around 1985, and we just my husband really wanted to preserve, promote Newa art, and he wanted to educate people. He wanted to preserve the best pieces to be in Nepal, so the future generation can see what heritage we have, what living heritage we have, and so that's how he started. At that time it was very difficult for the artists to survive. So he really worked for their rights, their dignity, their sustainability, because he really felt that if the artists don't have, are not happy with what they are doing, they feel, next generation is not going to take it up. So he really worked for that. And so he started to work with, living artists, making the statues and paintings. He started to commission them. He started to work very closely with the artists, so that it's not only about them making it, but also giving his input throughout, supervising the whole process. That is why I think we have some of the best pieces in Nepal, or probably globally. So he really worked on it, and he started to buy paintings. He started with statues, but he also started to buy paintings. And before 2011, we felt that my husband used to buy so many paintings and statues, and I used to always kind of have arguments with him, because we also had to take care of our kids and homes and rituals and all whatever the festivities Nawaz had and all the responsibilities. And but he would be so crazily passionate about art. He would just buy it, and he used to always tell me whenever I'm arguing with him, he used to say, someday I'm going to have a grand exhibition. And at that time we didn't even think that what exhibition would be, but that was his vision, that he wanted to have really a grand exhibition of basically the statues and pawas, traditional art. And so we decided before 2011 we will do it in 2011 as Jewels of Noah Art. We did it in Siddhartha Art Gallery in Bubble Mall you visited. And I think we didn't know what would happen when we did that exhibition, because nobody had done in that scale, so we were like, would people come and visit? Would it work? Would it not work? We really had a lot of, suspicion of how it's going to work, confusion. And when we did it, we were just amazed at how the people's reaction, people walked from Sundarijal just to see some of the paintings that had been covered by media, and after we did that, we saw how people really enjoyed that exhibition. We felt maybe that was the collection of 25 years. So it's of various artists. And then we thought, okay, maybe we should do a solo exhibition of artists, so that we could really show people the whole scale, the whole variety of what artists can do. So we started, we kind of, whoever we had the most, we started with that, and we thought that's who we would focus with. But for various reasons, some of the two exhibitions we planned for didn't work out. One because of the earthquake in 2015, and some for other reasons. So we did in 2016 we did the Embodied Enlightenment. So for that preparation, we started to really work closely with the artist. And the artist also was very excited. Samundra was also very excited with the idea. So my husband, what he usually does, used to be that he gives the freedom to the artist to be as creative as possible. He will go and visit the artist. Like we were there almost every Saturday, especially from the time we talked to him to the very end, which means just before the exhibition. I think all of us, it's for us, it's not only my husband, but my kids, me, my daughter-in-law. So we were all family who were like really interested in all the, the artwork and exhibition. So we would be there. My husband probably was there more than us, but we were there like almost every Saturday. So we were like, I think being with him and I think his excitement also, Samundra's excitement to really make it grand, to make it very diverse, I think that really helped him also to think about or to be more creative. Just I think the presence, especially of my husband, I think really encouraged him to do like very, very diverse. I mean, he also really worked hard to be very, very creative, to be very productive, and so like he created a very grand scale of art. From very, very traditional to very not I wouldn't say contemporary, but more creative. And in terms of size, he also wanted to make it really diverse. He had the smallest one. It was, I think, 1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeter, to 2 feet by 6 feet. So it was like really, and he was doing all kind of more contemporary ideas also. He had like various things which usually traditional artists would not make it. One is about, it didn't have a face. It was void. It had crown, it had jewelries, but it didn't have face. So basically, like anyone can be a god. People don't realize the extent of preparation it requires to do this kind of exhibition. You really have to have a passion to be able to do this. Really there's like so much challenge to buy artwork for 5 years. This is so that artists do not have the burden to keep the artist's artwork for 5 years. Holding it for 5 years is not a joke. The other part is, the renting out the space, security system, generators for as alternative energy. It's like really, really important. And Purna had really very strong sense of aesthetics, and he really loved art. He loved art, and he wanted others to also enjoy the fabulous work. He wanted all the visitors to really enjoy it, and I think they really did. He was buying constantly. It really put so much financial constraint. But he could have just loan from others, whether it's sellers, whether it's collectors. He could have just loaned it if he didn't want to, have that kind of burden. But he wanted, the quality of artwork. He wanted it creative. He wanted with a certain theme. So he wanted it to be to do it by himself, and also he wanted to give artists freedom to create as much as possible, because it really, I think that's something. He respected the artist for his creativity. He gave that space to be, very, very creative, regardless of whether he'll be able to sell or not. What is the market situation, what is the global economy, national economy. Regardless of that, he really wanted to create very diverse art, so that people can really see the growth, the capacity of an artist. He just wanted to put together a show that was never done before in Nepal, especially in Newa art history. So he was really encouraging to be and to do the best, to be creative. Even some of the pieces were very out of the box in terms of traditional art, and he was like really giving that space to do it, like Snake and Ladder, which actually there was there. I mean, that concept was also has been there traditionally, but I think it's something that a lot of people don't think about. And the other one was, called Void, which really didn't have a face. I mean, traditionally that's like absolutely not acceptable, but it had crown, it had jewelry, but didn't have the face. And basically, that was like anyone can be a god, if people work on it or people believe in it, so it's a very different way of working for him. And he really went, to talk to like Samudra, and it's really encouraging him to do, as creatively, as interestingly as possible. And I think, it goes both ways, both with Purna as well as, with Samundra, that they really worked as a team to really produce this preparation for this exhibition. The other part was doing retrospective. So actually, he bought a lot of pieces from local collectors, sellers, and also from internationally. Actually, I got connected with Siddhartha Shah to buy the piece from New York. Similarly, my husband and son also was involved in buying from Robert Baer various pieces from there, and also we bought pieces from Germany. So it's like a whole preparation work for years to really be able to do this exhibition. And we also got it from few collectors like Krishna Bahadur Pandey, Deepak Shakya, Chow. So this whole preparation, it was so exciting how this whole preparation we did. Everyone was so excited. And I think, even the banner for this exhibition, my husband wanted it, really make it as grand as possible, as like really a very huge movies. And he had this huge banner, it was, I think, 60 by 90 feet, which it covered most part, more than the third floor of Nepal Council, the whole entire floor, because we wanted to cover the light. It was also part of controlling the light, but it was so huge that a lot of people, while we put it up, people were like just coming to see like what was happening and when was this exhibition going to happen. And so there were people who came even before we were able, we put up the exhibition.
So, like Mom said, the banner is huge. It covered two sides of Nepal Art Council. You could see it from almost from mid Baneshwar. And when people saw that kind of banner, everybody stopped. Everybody stopped to look what was going on, what's happening. Because usually banners are always like small. You could only see it from the front, but it was something that you could see from all over. I remember a story of a police officer who was going to work and he almost crashed because he saw this banner that was just amazing. It was just so grand that he just had to stop and come visit the exhibition, even before opening hours. So at that time, I was a art history research assistant at VCU Arts Qatar. Even before the exhibition happened, we were in Qatar discussing about how the catalog is going to look like, doing some edits on the text, talking to different professors about how to do the exhibition. Because something about Nepal is this kind of exhibition doesn't really happen. The grandeur of this exhibition was to a level that nobody's ever done it. We really wanted to do something that was different, that was unique, and I think we were successful with it. After visiting all the galleries in Qatar, in different countries like Rome, in Italy, Portugal, US, Japan, I think galleries and museums, I think we were able to create something that was of an international level that I don't think any other collector would be able to do. The kind of devotion it took, the kind of work it took, I don't think a lot of people will have that kind of patience. If you go to a museum or a gallery, they'll have an entire team to work on it. But here we only had a handful of people. So a lot of times we had to do trial and error to figure out, is it going to work? Is it going to be something that people are going to be amazed by? So there was like last minute work that just the day before or even in the morning, We changed a lot of things just because it wasn't working. So everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be of a different level. We boarded up all of the windows so that we could control the lighting. So we had 5 security guards to control the entire premises. And at a time, because there were so much people, even the security guards started giving tours. And this reminded me of Museum of Islamic Art, where I did my internship. There were guards in every single room, and that just kind of that authority of having a figure in a gallery elevates the presentation in a way. So having 5 security guards in almost every single room, that kind of elevated the importance of the exhibition in the view of the people. When they came in, when you see a security guard, you automatically think that you relate it to banks. Banks are something that store valuables. People associate security guard directly with that. So when you come in, you see guards, you see automatically think of the artwork as something that are very precious, something that's very valuable, of an importance.
which I think usually people have not done. People have not seen traditional art as something very precious. So I think it was a really changing the whole ball game.
So in the past, when there were exhibitions, especially in traditional artwork, it was more just done for the sake of doing it. I went to this a couple of days ago. There was this handicraft exhibition at Pat Butini, and like any other exhibition, it really felt like it was just for the sake of doing it, rather than promoting our culture, our heritage, our ancestors' legacy. I think the amount of work that was put into embodied enlightenment, nobody has ever done it in Nepal, at least. So when we were putting up the exhibition, we only had the gallery for I think 2 extra days, and within that short time frame, we had to figure out how the paintings are going to be laid out because we had a lot of last minute changes as well. Um, and since we didn't have an exhibition design team, we relied a lot on the artists to come and help us. It was an amazing experience because when you look at the other galleries internationally, they're all trained. They're all have a degree in actually designing a gallery. Whereas here, no one really has that degree. But even though without that degree, everybody knew what to do. Everybody was so coordinated. We told the artists, okay, this is eye level. This is what the eye level is going to be measured at. We gave them the measurement, and everybody went around, started hanging all of the paintings. We had almost over 62 paintings. We had the gift shop, we had the exhibition space that we had to curate, and everybody, like, I think dad treated everybody as a family, and that family came together to help one another, to hang off the paintings.
The most amazing part was, I being from Kathmandu, where the whole, the community feeling has been lost. It was the most amazing part, as Siddhartha said. It's the whole team, all the artists we work with from Patan and from Bungamati, they just came and did it. And a lot of the actually artists from Bungamati at that point, we had not even worked with. And but they also came and just worked, with the whole team, and it was flawless. It just went so smoothly that everyone, worked so hard to just make it happen. And and it was interesting. Artists from Kathmandu, they brought food. It was like one of the festivals in Kathmandu, where all the food, Samay Bhaji was like put up like Samay Bhaji was a huge amount of kind of a small hill of food for everyone. So it was like everyone was like doing whatever they could to make it really happen. And I think that whole artist like family, which really I think was very very interesting.
I think one thing we as Bodhisattva Gallery we've never we've always seen all of the artists as one of our family members. There's never been a hierarchy. When we had the hill of food, everybody sat together, whether it was mom, whether it was dad, whether it was my big brother. We all sat together as an entire family and started digging in. I think some of the most memorable moments were created in during Embodied Enlightenment. Once the exhibition was set up, once everything was done, we had an amazing response from everybody. We had three, four, 500 people almost every single day at the gallery. We had schools bring in their students almost every day. At some point, it was just so many people that like the core team couldn't even handle that kind of crowd. And the security guards came in, they started giving tours, they started directing the people, and I think
And also giving explaining, I think they also explain quite well actually.
I think the way they kept on looking at how we were explaining, how we were giving tours to different people, to schools, to other visitors, and they learned as well. And I think art is such a thing that you can have your own interpretation as well. And the guards, I think, they mix their own local interpretation along with what we were doing as well. So so a moment I remember from the exhibition was I used to go open up the Nepal Council at 10 a.m. in the morning, and so that from 10 to 11, cleaners could come in and clean the premises, and from 11, visitors would come. That was the plan. That was we announced that at 11 the exhibition would start. But then whenever I went at 10 a.m., there was always people waiting to enter. And at 10, when I opened up the gallery, they would ask, can we come in? Um, I have only a few minutes to view. And we would let them in. We would let them in and have a glance at the exhibition. And then they would go. And then everybody that just came for a few minutes would come back again to actually give time to the exhibition, be able to go through the entire exhibition, look through the entire all of the paintings, and really appreciate it.
Actually, I know somebody from the human rights work I do, and he was with his kid. I said, did you bring your kid to the exhibition? He said, nope, it's the other way around. He brought me to this exhibition because he wanted to repeatedly watch the exhibit, artwork, and so he made his father come along with him to see the exhibition. So it was really interesting. There were a lot of people who came back again and again, with not only themselves but with friends. And I mean, even now I meet people who say that that was such a fantastic exhibition, and would you be doing one again? Because it's the fifth year. Actually, the inaugural was so interesting. We didn't expect that kind of people. Our original plan was to have selected people, but the people just came. Actually, the whole ground of Nepal Art Council was full to the brim. Actually, a lot of people had to return because it was so full. They couldn't even enter from the gate. It was this amazing experience of. Uh, I think everyone was so excited with this exhibition. I mean, even from the very start of it.
One thing I remembered from 2011 was everybody was worried that we wouldn't have enough people during the inaugural. And even then, even back in 2011, when we did our first exhibition, we had a lot of people. We didn't imagine that kind of crowd would turn up. One of the artists had said that if there wasn't enough people, then we're here. You can count on us to be in the crowd. But there was so many people, and in 2016 as well, the guards had to close the gates so that there wasn't overcrowding. I still remember when I was near the podium, an ambassador came and he stood at the gate and then he returned,
That's
left.
the Qatari ambassador.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there was, you couldn't even come inside.
So actually, we didn't even count the people who came on the first day because there were just too many to even count because we were not ready to handle that or count the number. Actually, we had about 5,300. Actually, the counted number was 5,300 plus, and we didn't count the people who came on first day. We were not ready to handle at that point because there were so many people.
I think with the counts, even though we had two guards clicking as they saw people come in, at some points like, there was such a rush of people to see the exhibition that you couldn't click that much. You couldn't
Keep the exact numbers.
click the exact numbers. With from the exhibition, again, I was working for the art history department in VCU Qatar, and this was the first exhibition that I had the opportunity to manage, to work with, and even um, like after the exhibition, we had to do a couple of internal exhibitions, in our program, and looking at how we did how we created, how we designed the gallery. I used some of the techniques back in uni for my work as well, and I think that kind of exposure is you usually don't get that. Either you get that in your senior year when you're in a museum and doing your internship, or after uni. So the exhibition itself really helped a lot in terms of my education and building my interest in designing galleries or designing exhibitions. But the other thing that I learned from the exhibition was that we need a proper gallery. That we to exhibit our kind of work, the for exhibiting my parents' collection, we don't have that kind of infrastructure in Nepal. So that was one of the reasons why we designed Bodhisattva Gallery's premises to be able to give more importance to the artwork, um, for people to be able to enjoy the art in a different way, um, than what they're used to at Nepal Art Council or other galleries or museums in Nepal.
I would say, after this exhibition, or even during the exhibition, I think we are just so excited with, people who just came with so much excitement. There were people who wanted us to extend by a day. There were people who would come late, and we would just, cater to all those things because I think we were also so excited with how, people were excited with being able to see this kind of art. Um, and we really felt we need to do more of this. We not only continued, earlier we used to do annual exhibition in Hyatt Regency, and so we started to do biannual exhibitions in Hyatt because we really felt people really love to see art. And I think they have not seen the kind of excellence in most places because what you see in Tamil, what you see in Choche or Patan or wherever, I think that kind what we have is not commercial production. What we have is art and the highest quality of art Nepal creates. And so I think the kind of appreciation we got there, we really saw that kind of appreciation when we did it in Hyatt. A lot of people would come and ask us if we had loaned it from museums because that's the kind of quality we work with and encourage artists to create. And that's what my husband would really work very closely to have the best pieces, the best brings out the best in the artist. Um, and so we have, like, as Siddhartha has already said, we really felt we have to have our own space because we really need to have a real, actual kind of museum quality of, gallery where we can really put up our art pieces so that it also gives justice through the environment, because what we have what we have worked with so far is the most exquisite pieces. And if you see, come and see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because I think sometimes when it comes from the owners or founders, it just doesn't feel the same. So I think you should come to the current exhibition.
And we hope that in our future exhibitions, you can also come and visit the gallery.
Actually, this will be series of exhibitions, and you could probably enjoy it even more than before, because now we have proper gallery. Earlier it was we didn't have the space, gallery space, and I think now we have a museum quality gallery. So come and enjoy it.
And if you can't, then we are planning to take it to the next level and be able to showcase our collection to the rest of the world as well. Stay tuned for it.